Hey everybody. Not sure. Enter text for chat. Let's see. Oh. Still learning this program. But thought since I was driving around for a little bit just getting things done.
Really seem like a good person.
Why don't I just dramatize things a little here?
Psychologist doing it, but he's not normal people aren't him.
And perpetuate this as a prior to the Hilary tropical storm scenario. Tropical storm Hilary, or Hurricane Hilary, is currently down in Mexico, strengthening to a Category 4 hurricane, I believe, and is like wreaking havoc. By the time it gets up here, it's definitely not going to be as strong because it's going to run into cooler water and not so great conditions for hurricanes, as you can see. As is now being evidenced before our very eyes. You would never know what disaster is going to befall us here in Santa Monica. You would never know that we are on the precipice of a tropical storm of proportions never seen since the National Weather Service established itself in 1555. So that's what we're going with here. So device is too hot. Overheating. My phone's hot. Doesn't feel like it. Ooh, something hot right over there. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, not that anything's going to look any different. I just need an excuse to drive around and have a little fun with my phone and with Prism and with live streaming. So there you go. That's what's going on here. This will not be affected. We're going to get heavy rains. We'll probably have some flooding and then tree branches, power outages. I'm ready for all of that stuff though. I've got this old transistor radio. I've got stuff to maintain if power goes down. So what I'm doing now, I had to pull into a parking lot so I could set up this camera. And my strategy, I'm just going to let you in on a little local info, is to find a nice row of trees like this, which is not that difficult, but when it's busier, it's not possible. I do know that. And I like to park near the trees and then walk to the ocean or whatever. I'm just going to go through here. This is Perry's Cafe, Hollister Avenue, Santa Monica. There's a hurricane coming. Take cover, Blondie. Let me let these people know there's a hurricane coming around. Here, I'm going to tell them. Let me roll down the window. There's a hurricane coming around. Can you imagine? Take cover. Oh. Sorry to interrupt your party. There's a hurricane coming around. Oh, look at this little... Ooh, I like this little space. I found me a little... okay. For the future. Note to self. See, like these little places, and I'm not the only one hip to it, because there are people parked here just kind of taking it in. Like this is another place that would be cool. Facing away from the sun. Now, when it comes to this storm, I hope some of these trees don't get uprooted or turned over, because they are nice trees and they've been around. And they haven't experienced a tropical storm before. None of these trees that you're looking at have ever been exposed to a tropical storm. So that is the scenario. A lot of the eucalyptus trees seem to have like deep roots, and they just tip right over, and they're always the biggest trees. These kind of palm trees seem to like fare the best. I've never seen any of these just tip over. They're not really known for that. They're kind of roundish, which is like very aerodynamic when you think about it in terms of heavy winds. The top of the and the shape of the leaves take on the wind, and the tree can bend, and as you can see in a lot of videos, they bend in the wind and pretty much maintain their their position. Whereas the bigger trees, like the eucalyptus trees, will just totally get huge and then just turn over like a topple, like a top. Oh, this is my favorite time of day. I call it the golden hour, which a lot of people do these days, but I call it golden hour forever. You look at my Instagram, which is Smartin007. I think a couple years ago, like 5 years ago, I went up the coast, and this was the light I wanted to catch, like at the Central Coast. I called it golden hour because it is golden light. It's just the way, the angle of the light going down and how the atmosphere is situated. So now we're passing into the international boundary between Santa Monica and Venice. Customs is not visible, but they are positioned, targeting cars that look suspicious. Just kidding. Right at the border of Venice and Santa Monica. This is Bernard Way. Rose streets. Do I have any viewers? I don't even have any viewers, but in retrospect, I do get viewers. So, and that's not the reason I'm doing it. I'm just doing this just, I don't know, to have fun with this app and to see if it works better than last time. So there is a very practical, solid reason. Oh, every time I go by this building, I think of a friend of mine who lived here. And he had a falling out. This building to the right. She was a neighbor, and then she moved out here, and I moved out here. And we just had a falling out one time years ago, and I was just like, I just can't deal with this person. Ooh, cool cars to the left. It was weird because I was younger and she was older. It's a she. And we spent a lot of time together. She became kind of a time hog, actually. So this street has been cleaned up with homeless. This used to be like homeless haven. They cleaned this up and it hasn't come back. And to the right is part of the Google campus here in Venice. So I think that might have something to do with it. Because they had done a few cleanups. This is one street that can definitely hold up I thought this street would be an example for sure that it would revert to homelessness, and it's been a couple years now, and it's amazing. I don't know what goes on at night when somebody comes by and decides they're going to set up shop, like who comes by and what they say and what they do. But this was constantly being built up as a homeless encampment. And it just is so bizarre because it's like $1 million homes and stuff around there. This restaurant to the right, inclusive. I think they're always going to make a play for these streets until you just say, fuck it. Excuse my French. They are always going to make a play for the street. They always have. Excuse my sniffles. I'm just amazed. I drive tonight as an amazed man looking at areas that had a persistent homeless issue, and now they don't have people here. And this is in Venice, near Rose Avenue. In fact, the Rose Cafe is over to the left. And they no longer have the persistent homeless problem. What is this person doing? That's confusing. You got me thinking you're making a left. Oops, she heard me. But this was the calm before the storm. Little did they know there'd be 10 feet of water where they're standing now. I think it's being dramatized, and I'm kind of feeding into that. But I do think LA is going to have a lot of rain, and I think it's going to be worse in inland. And I think we're going to probably have a blackout. So I bought some. I mean, I'm making minimal changes to my routine because I'm not really that worried about it, but I'm having fun with it because I really enjoy storms, and I miss the storms that I grew up with in the Midwest, where you stand on the back porch or in the yard and see these big black clouds, purple clouds, lightning and thunder, and just all this energy just totally decimating the sky. And we don't have those here. I would like to see those, if possible, this weekend. Oh, baby Jesus. Oh, baby Jesus, Mother Mary, and Jehoshaphat. I want to see it all, baby. I want to see it all. This is Main Street. This will be under 10 feet of water tomorrow. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm having a good old time over here. Yes, this is Main Street before it went down the drain. And then by Sunday, this will be under 10 feet of water. So enjoy the view. There may be having, if I see any discounts going on business discounts, I will definitely let people know. You know, disaster disaster dining. See, 1972, I think, maybe 1975, in front of this car. I wish I was following it directly, but maybe I'll get a chance if they turn. That's such a cool car. I love cars. I know my cars too. I want to go to Jay Leno and the Sultan of Brunei's garages. I'm no politics involved. I don't care anything about their personal beliefs. I want to see their cars. For sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's a Ford Galaxy. My dad had one. Why are you stopping? It's so self-absorbed. They probably think I'm so like into them. I'm into the car in front of you, you meth heads. Oh, there it is. It's turning left. Look at it. Oh. Yes, my dad had one of those. Oh my God. Love it. Oh. I wish this person had not been in front of me. It's going to pick up. Different parts of Santa Monica have different peak periods. It's a little bit, it's 10 to 7 p.m. here. 17 or 1900 hours. So it's 1853 for those of you familiar with European and military time, which I prefer. Oh, this is a bad. See that BMW to the right of me? Oh my God, 7401. I want that car, man. Get out of my car. Too late. I'll have to save that carjacking for another day. Stranger. Boy, this new hotel opened up in the area, and they're like on pins and needles. I can tell it's opening night, where they're not on training wheels tonight, and they're just not doing business because nobody knows about them. But they'll get their groove. Their location is undeniable, so they're gonna get their groove. I drove there on purpose tonight just to see. See, now I'm not gonna know. Nice street. You drive around me. I want to drive down where the new hotel is. It's called the Pierside Hotel. It's kind of a dumpy place. I don't even remember the name of it. It was just this undesirable, which is weird because it's got such a great location Now, finally, people are doing something to expand on that. So this in general is a busy corner. There have been wild times on this street for sure. This McDonald's in front of me, dead center, has been the scenes of many mental hospital reenactment scenes. And they've had their situations. But that's been solved. Now to the left is the new place, Pierside Hotel, the Surfing Fox. Now I went the other way. This time I made need to make a right. But there's the world famous Santa Monica Pier, up, center, front, to your face. Okay. And it's a medium Friday evening. It's not humid, it's not hot. It's just right. That's why nobody can tell that there's a tropical storm that's about to ruin their lives. No, the weather's very... My car is showing 75 degrees outside. And I'm sure it is, because it's not extreme at all. I don't know how a hurricane's going to make it here. I really don't. This is just not going to feed the hurricane anything. It's cooler, it's drier, it's just not the kind of thing that is the lifeblood of a hurricane. So when that thing gets up here, it's in for a surprise. It's not going to make it that far. What I think is interesting is what I was mentioning before. I see this big old building from my kitchen. Always have to keep an eye out on jackets on. I think in the middle of the city in LA, it was probably in the mid 80s today, maybe 90. Over here at best, it was probably 70. I have one viewer, and I don't know who you are because I'm driving, but thank you for joining, and I hope you enjoy the remainder of this video, which I'm calling the calm before the storm, before the tropical storm hits us on Sunday night, Monday morning, because it's going to be in that time frame. But I don't think it's going to make it. I'm just like driving around and you know, you're seeing people that are like not hot at all. It's not hot and humid here. It's warm and it's dry, but it's not hot and humid. So it's so hard to imagine a tropical storm moving in at this point. It's just not coagulating. I mean, it's the farthest thing right now that I can imagine, because it just doesn't feel anything like I would imagine or look. But it's a few hundred miles away, and things change. So I just think it's interesting to observe these things. To the left is Shake Shack. Oh, they're building a lot of apartments. Wow. Oh, good. They kept looking. Okay. Wow. I haven't seen some of these in a while. And I'm on the neighborhood committee. I am. I knew these buildings were coming up. I just haven't. I've seen the renditions. Like, why do I need to look at them? Like, it's interesting to see what they're doing, though, to the way it used to be. Like, the sun coming through, and these taller buildings are just gonna just make it just like anywhere else. It's just so. It's the American way. You're going to build buildings here as well. Some of it looks really good, and then some of it is like not so great. What I was going to do is go down a street that I know has lots of big trees, and my concern is that there's a lot of trees here that have never experienced a tropical storm, even though they look like they're tropical trees. These trees in front of me, up and down Wilshire Boulevard, yes, they're going to be just fine. They usually are, because they're built for that. But a lot of the trees on these side residential streets are big, roundish trees that have never experienced a tropical storm. So you can see these branches, huge trees. I mean, look at them. And I'm not even on the biggest ones. Let me go over here. I want to see some huge trees that may come tumbling down. And it would be a huge loss because they're beautiful trees. Oh, some of my favorite streets. I'm glad I live with that. Whatever. I like where I live. Let's put it that way. I'm satisfied. Even though a lot of people here bitch about every damn thing. Oh my God. Nothing's right. Anything new is bad. Just some of these people over here. When I'm on a neighborhood committee, I know city council members, I know them, I've known the mayors on and off. Let me tell you, man, this is a tough act. Okay, so these are the eucalyptus trees of 7th Street. They're huge. These are the kind of trees that I'm wondering about, because look how big they are. They have never seen a tropical storm. Look how beautiful and majestic they are, but they have never seen a tropical storm. Because this area, this part of the world doesn't get that. So what are these things going to do? God forbid. Hopefully they don't just turn over. Look how huge they are. Look how big the trunks are. They've never been tested by tropical storm winds. They've been tested by strong winds, though. Some of our Santa Ana desert winds have been very brutal, I must say. Those are not either like a walk in the park either. But with these trees and the rain working on it at the same time, I'm not 100% sure that. I hope they can make it. They're beautiful. They're like inspirational when you're not in a good mood and you see these beautiful trees. You just like, kind of brings you up, you know, like, hey, you know, gives a little bit of a hit. But if they're gone, that stuff isn't replaced in a matter of weeks. It's years and years and years that these things have been around. So the serious considerations are the fact that there's an infrastructure in the entire Southern California area that has never been tested. I think back in 1939 there was a tropical storm that made it in, but since then so many things have gone up that have never been tested. You know, these ADUs that people are building, I don't know if there's tropical force contingencies written into the construction codes. Why would they be? Yeah, strong winds from Santa Ana's, but a tropical storm is not something that is normally seen. So why would that be written into anybody's insurance? This area is on a bluff. So that means this is about 200 feet or 300 feet. Area I'm driving on right now sticks out. In fact, I could just turn left and show you. This is a bluff. It's on the top of a cliff. So let's say there's a tsunami coming in from this direction that I'm driving in from, and it's 150 feet. It doesn't make it over to this area because this area drops down way towards the end of this picture that I'm taking right now. But when I get there, you'll see there's a park with a cliff there. So this is a bluff. In other words, if I were to floor it right now and keep going, like if I were to floor it right now and I decided I wanted to just like tear through here, I'd be driving off a cliff right now. And it's like, I would think it's about 150 feet down. If I were like just, and people have done that actually. There are people trying to make a getaway. Over here. So now we're on a bluff. So we're on a bluff. Like you're on a bluff. Like not on a bluff if you're watching this, but I'm on a bluff. But if you're with me, we're both on a bluff. So here's what happens. Somebody goes on a chase. And they're doing their chase. They're trying to get away from the cops. And they go down this street thinking, okay, oops, sorry ladies. Here we go, you know, let's get up the hell. I just robbed this place, let's get out of this, let's get out of here. They went through this and went over that cliff. All these stop signs are here because they went over. And they went over some houses that are below this. So, miraculous. They did get hurt. Nobody in the homes were hurt. The car just flew over all the houses. And it was a kind of a miracle because nobody got hurt. So to the left of me is the Santa Monica Canyon. And these are areas that will get affected by heavy rains because of the fact that this area has been soaked already, and this is an off-season rainstorm that is just not built into the year as far as what to expect. I hate this corn. Hate this corn. Okay. Yes. It's such a weird corner. Look at that. Thank you. I'm glad that was caught in video. This is a messed up corner. It really is. Whatever. No one cares what I think. Okay, well, it's time to go home, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a wonderful evening. I see I have the one viewer. I don't know. It might be somebody I know. I think it's somebody I probably do know. I'm not sure, but that's okay. We all got to start from somewhere. I'll just remember that night when I had that one viewer. That could be a song. Remember that night I had that one viewer. Woo-hoo. Remember that night I had that one viewer. Woo-hoo. Oh, that was me earlier. Loud. Why does gravity have to be so heavy? Oh, this Montana Avenue. Now, let's talk about Montana Avenue. This area never floods. See, now that you see, what happens is that this area is built up into a plateau situation kind of thing. So all the water goes down from here. This area never floods. It can rain for days. When you're 200 feet above sea level, you're going to be 200 feet above sea level while other areas flood. And that has always been the way it has been here. I have never seen it otherwise. It just can't flood. They can try, but the flood that happens here goes down to other areas like Venice, primarily Venice, because Venice is sea level. All these new cars. I like it because it's Friday night on this main street here. This is the main street near my area, my home area. and it kind of pops. It's a little bit pretentious, to be honest with you. I don't care for the average person who comes here, but because a lot of people are the ones that are so pretentious are just, it's just suffering through so much just to talk to them sometimes, because they're so insecure, and it just is just painful. It just, come on, just be real, man. Oops. That's all people want. Just be real. I am. This is like nice. This is fun to see. This used to be so much quieter, though, I have to say. When I first moved here, I was a little concerned that it was too quiet. I really thought, it was like, how am I relating to the rest of the world living over here? And now it's like boom town, big time. It's, it is what it is. But I do remember when I first moved here thinking, it's so quiet. It's like, how do people make it work? It wasn't. Now it's not quiet, for sure. So if you look at the tree to the right, look how tall that is. Look how tall these trees are to the right, period. So if those get hit by 60-mile-per-hour do these trees look like they've ever been exposed to tropical winds before? Think about it. They haven't. They're about to get it. Look how big those roots are. This is not a one-off either. These are huge-ass trees. Check out this street. This is a street more like kind of looking like it's a beautiful street, I have to say. It is. But it doesn't look like this kind of street that has trees that will survive a tropical storm. Force winds. Look how tall. These trees are made to gather the wind. There needs to be like a full-on emergency mode going on right now. These kind of things, these trees have never seen tropical force winds, and look how old they are. Like, it's a real concern. Look how tall and old they are. They're going to be taking in a strength of wind. Look at this. They've never seen before. And they're big trees. This is where I personally see, I don't think all of them are going to come down. I think a lot of them have gone through a fair amount based on our past winter of heavy rain and high winds, past Santa Ana seasons where I know we've had like heavy winds, but without the rain. Santa Anas are dry. That's what we're used to here. These trees are used to being blown around really hard by 80-mile-per-hour winds when it's dry, but not when it's wet. Not when it's wet. These trees have never experienced that. I know that for sure. Another cool car I just passed. I pass a lot of cool cars in my neighborhood. I gotta say, for a car lover, I definitely live in the right area. I really do. Oh my God. Wow, now I'm kind of worried. I never thought about the incoming storm like that before, but now that I really do think about it, it's like it reminds me when I first moved here. It's like I knew that my bad sinuses were a creation of the fact that there are all these plants that my nose had never experienced before. So I, learned how to adapt. And you got the right medication to push through all the allergies. All the new allergies that I had that I never knew about before, because I just was never exposed to this level. And now I'm looking at the fact that a lot of the trees and plants I'm looking at right now are not tropical. Well, a lot of them actually are not native to California. But so many of these bigger trees and plants haven't been tested like they're going to be tested this weekend, if the winds and the track of the storm maintains a certain position. Like, I'm thinking some of these trees may be coming down this weekend. From just like a pedestrian, non-scientific, non-trained observation, I am going to bet that some of these trees on this street will be down after this weekend, just because of the fact they haven't been tested before. I don't think all of them will come down, but I think it's realistic to think some of them will come down. It won't be a disaster, but it won't be a normal thing that we see. So I think it's going to be on that kind of scale. And in doing so, there'll be some blackouts in the area as well, which I think is to be expected if you have a tropical storm moving in to an area that's untested. However, we have been tested by Santa Ana's. And those are very strong winds. So it's not like this is a unique combination of circumstances coming together that are going to create a unique situation that will be interesting to observe, for sure, on my end. I just can't wait, because I just think it's fascinating. So, we'll shoot a doggy. You know the dog's in control of this group. Oh God, that yogurt place to the left went out of business. What? Why? They did a good job. It sucks. Dun dun dun. Whoa. Need to stop. Yes, I'm done. I'm ending this for now because I need to. I don't really need to keep going. So thank you all for joining me. And we'll see. I'm going to be running a live cam on Earth Cam if I can register correctly and get it hooked up and share the link. So that is going to be in the queue of things to do. Ciao for now.